Assalamu alaikum everyone. Good evening. This is Fatima Zahra Ahmed, Zahra Unscripted, and this is my son, Ismail Umar. Now, I made a post earlier about medical consent. Now, I sit here today with my son to talk about medical consent. Now, Ismail is 7 years old. He has severe brain damage. He doesn't sit, he doesn't walk, he doesn't talk. He's visually impaired, meaning he's medically blind. Now, the reason why I decided to make this video today is to share awareness on medical consent. It is your right. It is your right as a patient to know whatever a doctor is administering to you. It is your right. It's not a privilege. It is a right. Now, while I was in labor with Ismail, my doctor came into my room and asked me if I was feeling any form of pain. And I confirmed and affirmed that yes, I was in a lot of pain. Obviously, I am in labor. Labor is supposed to be painful. And this doctor reached out into his pocket, brought out an already prepared medication in a syringe. And he opened up my cannula and he injected. Now, immediately after injecting, I fell asleep. And that was it. Now, even while asleep, I was still I could feel the contractions coming. I could feel every single pain, even while I was sedated. I remember while sedated, I was shouting out my sister's name because I was feeling the urge to push out the baby. And she couldn't hear me, obviously, because I was sleeping. But in my mind, I was trying, sorry, boo-boo, in my mind, I was trying as much as I could to talk to her. Now, what saved me was she noticed I was moving a lot. There was a lot because I was in a lot of distress. She went out and she called out the nurse, and the nurse came in, and already the baby's head was crowning. And she ran out, that's the nurse, and she called the doctor, and he said, no, he's timing. It's not time yet. And she said she has already seen that the baby is crowning. Meanwhile, my water has not even broken. And the doctor rushed in. She rushed back first before the doctor came in, and they held me. She held one hand, my elder sister held the other hand, and I walked. In that situation, at that position I walked to the labor room with the aid of my elder sister and the nurse. And the doctor came in immediately after they placed me on the bed. Now, at this time, I was already coming out of the sedation. They came in, the doctor came in, and before he could wear his gloves, because at that time my eyes were already open, and the baby just came out like he was pushed out by force, because I had a very big push and he came out. Now, when he came out, he wasn't breathing. There wasn't any form of life. He was not crying. He had what medically they call severe birth asphyxia, which is a situation where you give birth to a child and the child comes out not crying, not breathing. There's no form of life. And they had to resuscitate him. Now, during the process of resuscitation, they didn't have a pediatrician on ground, and this doctor had to do everything over a phone call, because he called the pediatrician. They were working with hand in hand over the phone, and that was how she was able to guide him over the phone. Now, this is my son. He's 7 years old. He has severe brain damage. All his life, he has lived in constant pain because he has spastic cerebral palsy, which is a cerebral palsy that makes you extremely stiff. He has had 2 surgeries so far. Sorry, boo-boo. He has had 2 surgeries so far. One was for undescended testes, and the other one was a stem cell that we had to do to improve the quality of life. Sorry, boo-boo. Now, cerebral palsy does not have a cure because it is a brain damage that is irreversible. He's in discomfort. But I want you people to see, this is what lack of consent from a medical doctor cost my family. This is it. What will it take a doctor to explain to you that after giving you this injection, you will fall asleep, and after you fall asleep, definitely there's not going to be supply of oxygen to the brain of the fetus you're carrying. And this is the result. This is the consequence of an action of one human being who decided to take matters into his own hands without looking for consent, without seeking for consent from me, the person that was in labor, without even actually informing me what it means for me to be sedated while in labor. This is 7 years of pain and torture and agony. This is 7 years. This child does not know what I look like. He can only hear me, but he doesn't know what I look like. He doesn't know what any of the family members look like because of one doctor's decision to sedate a pregnant woman in labor to sleep, and without monitoring what the fetus was into. Because they could have detected that the child has gone into distress, because definitely the rhythm of the heartbeat would change. I am not a medical doctor, but I have been abroad. I have taken my child abroad and they explained everything to me fully well. So please, for whatever medication you're going to be giving or your children, let them explain to you the side effect. Let them tell you. And if you don't agree, if it doesn't sit well with you, they shouldn't go ahead. Because this is something that we have to live with for the rest of our lives. This is a beautiful child. This is a very, very beautiful child. And alhamdulillah for Ismail. But I'm using this medium as an advocacy for people to see the pains we go through because someone decided to do something off the record. Someone decided to do something without seeking the advice of the parent, without telling the person the side effect of that decision he took at that point. I hope and I pray, truly Nigeria never happens to you. Because this is me, this is my son Ismail, and Nigeria happened to us. And I pray to Allah, I pray that this government will look into this issue of medical errors in this country and do something about it. And whoever is found guilty should face the full wrath of the law, because it's totally unfair. It is unfair. Thank you, everyone.